Trustees regular meeting for Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. Could we all please stand and pay respects to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Noting of the roll, please. Okay, approval of the agenda. I would like to amend and add an agenda item, and we'll just call this topic a grant from Oakland County contributing for the food donors from November 30th of 2021 to January 24th of 2022.
Jake, do you want to put that as 11A and move everything down because we have folks here for that matter?
I was going to do that 11B.
B, after that?
I'd like to do that for 11B.
Sure.
We have folks here and we'll get them in and out.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended with the new topic of Oakland County funding agreement for restaurant contributions, 11B, and move everything down accordingly.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Nold. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, hearing none. Public comment on items not on the agenda.
We got the consent agenda.
Oh, I wrote right over that. Sorry, thank you guys.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second that.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Charles. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Nold.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item number 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public that would like to make a comment on any item that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7, first reading sewer ordinance 107A.008. Clerk Wright?
Yeah, the sewer ordinance has been presented to you with several amendments. In that, included in your packet is the colored variation and also a clean copy that's proposed for a second reading. A couple points to make within that ordinance is we changed a lot of the language in the ordinance. Some of them were updating like the DEQ to Eagle, the Oakland County Drain Commissioner to Water Resources Commissioner, and changing some of the responsibilities from the building inspector to the engineer, the way the process has been flowing. Also, a couple of the appendixes have been amended, and you'll see ordinance 84 as an appendix C to the ordinance. As well as that, the billing and collection has been amended to more suit the flow of the billing in the township offices. So then we're not locked into certain days on that. A couple points I want to bring to the board's attention is on page 96 of the electronic version. There's a item in here on section 6283, and it is item, let me see what it is, item C. If I can scroll down there a little bit.
You said page 96?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, page 96, it talks about extensions and changes. It indicates, starting on the third line, petitions for the construction of new sanitary sewer laterals shall be addressed to the township board upon blank forms provided for that purpose. In the research between Attorney Rentrop, Attorney Morrison, and myself, we were not able to locate whether or not there's blank forms provided. So either that needs to be struck from the ordinance or that blank form needs to be created. So that's one item to be addressed before the second reading. The other item that I want to bring to the board's attention is on page 106 of the electronic, the new Appendix A. We will need a new sanitary sewer map from Engineer Sharp, because up here in the railroad area, this map does not show the additional area that we included for the levee properties, and also down on Drainer Road for the Silverado development down there. And there might be other ones, Engineer Sharp, that you may be aware of that I'm not, but those are two things that did stand out in the review since we received it back and was put in the packet.
That would be the Clearview property,
Yeah, what'd I say?
Silverado.
Silverado, yeah, okay, thank you.
I'm
okay.
just making note.
Yeah, okay, good. But other than that, I don't know if there's any other comments for the board of that, but also, just one more item is that a lot of the numbers were from the pre-codified version of the ordinance, 107, for those sections, and those have been updated to reflect into the codified ordinance as well. So that's pretty much my comments, Supervisor Curtis.
Are there any more comments?
I have a quick question then.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wright, you said that either create a form or strike it, right, on that?
Yeah, the blank form.
I
Sections.
captured that note, and I'm going to create a blank form for the sewer extension.
Okay.
I move to set a second reading and possible adoption of sewer ordinance 107A.008 at April 13th, 2022, Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Nold. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Nold.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes,
Clerk Wright, yes, and Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
motion carries. Okay, item number 8, Fire Department. We don't have anything on the agenda tonight. Item number 9, Engineer Sharp. Do you have anything to report tonight?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Wait, I'm the president. Thank you.
It doesn't stop
Okay.
here, does it?
No. Item 10, unfinished business. American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, use of funds. Clerk Wright.
The
What page are you on there?
143 of the electronic. The American Rescue Plan Act, as we abbreviated as ARPA, has met, and if I can get to the item here. We put in the packet what the board has approved already, and that's been $750,000 of board-approved appropriations. Oh, there it was. And we met last week, Trustee Nolan, Trustee Payne, and myself, and we had some remaining funds left over, $265,694.03 to be exact. So what we are recommending to the Township Board is to appropriate $200,000 for, we'll call it proposed fire station number 3, because it appears that's what's going to happen on that property. And the reason why we want that is we would like to get a operational facility, not building-wise, but to get the well drilled and get a a drive in there that would allow for emergency vehicles to utilize that wall for fire purposes. So we feel with that appropriation, that would at least let that process get started and potentially get something in place for the northern part of the township. The remaining funds, there's been a lot of requests or recommendations that the committee look at trying to appropriate funds for COVID losses from the businesses, from being shut down and not being able to get revenues to keep their businesses going. Also, there's been a little bit of a side of the incident that took place at the high school back in November, and we've contacted MTA, and they indicated that that's not a possibility to use this money for funding private organizations. So what the committee's looking for is to get legal counsel, an experienced legal counsel that can actually give us some guidance on how we can potentially get monies to these businesses. But since then, it's also looking at maybe that this request should be expanded, not just to the businesses, but to maybe even what we've already looked at, to go back and make sure that we're on solid ground to actually make these appropriations for the sewer extension and the fire radios, etc. So what we're looking at is to get approval for the $200,000 for the fire station, and then approval to have legal counsel give us some guidance back with some of the monies that are left over.
Okay, I want to comment. First, one of the proper allocations of fund, back up, go the other way to the bottom. One of the allocations of funding can be for legal counsel to provide guidance and to protect us in our decisions that we've made to spend the money on. Should they come back and say, what did you do? You did something illegal. We have money set aside for attorney cost to justify in a court of what we did. So I'm trying to help you along here. I see $200,000 for the proposed funding of Fire Station 3 and a blank for legal counsel guidance. So how much are you putting in that for the blank? The 65, the remainder of the 200,000 we have left, and then wait for the second injection of the million?
The blank, for me as one of the committee members, is for the board to decide how much that needs to be. I'm not looking for the whole $65,000 remaining to go for legal counsel, but two other members of the committee are here that can probably give some comment and their take.
That's how I looked down here. Yes,
I would
Trustee
think
Payne.
the cost would be much less than that, and I'd like to see us put in a cost not to exceed.
Okay.
As far as a number, pull it out of the air, I don't know. 7,000, 10,000.
Okay. Trustee Noel?
When we were in the meeting, we talked a number of 5,000, but I would go with not to exceed 7,000 or 5,000, whatever the board's comfortable with.
Yeah.
Whatever the board's comfortable with. Questions? Yes, sir.
Would it be appropriate to ask the opinion of Attorney Rentrop right now, what that might be, since that's your business life? What it might be to hire some attorney?
Jack did talk to me about it. I said, look, I can invent the wheel, but there's probably someone already out there that has invented the wheel. And I would just suggest you probably contact Miller Canfield, who's doing the bond work. And my guess is they've got somebody that's what they're doing. And your estimate is probably fairly close.
Okay.
5,000?
I'd go 5 to 750.
Yeah, let me take over here. I talked to several attorneys, and I asked a few larger firms who they're doing and what they're doing. One of our attorneys that we are authorized to use is doing 5 municipalities and 1 city. So we're not reinventing the wheel, like Gary said. The suggestion was 5 to 7,500. So if you'd want to put that in the motion, not to exceed for legal accountants and guidance, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I move to allocate American Rescue Plan Act funds for the following: $200,000 for funding for proposed fire station number 3, and a not to exceed $8,000 for legal counsel guidance to provide direction for the ability to provide American Rescue Plan Act funds to qualifying Oxford businesses that provided resources to the Oxford community following the incident at the Oxford High School.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Supervisor Curtis,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Trustee Noel,
Yes.
Trustee Payne,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
and Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Item 10B, we're putting our new trustee on the spot tonight. A review of the administrative fees for 2022. We had a committee meeting, and would you like to report out on that, Trustee Colvin?
Sure. The committee met and we did some benchmarking of local townships on how they did their administrative fees. We also did some, looked into how these departments utilize township resources. And based on that, we decided to allocate the administrative fee charges as listed.
I move to approve the following administrative fee charges for 2022 to the following entities: $4,500 Building Department, $4,100 Cable TV, $6,000 Fire Fund, $5,100 Parks and Rec, $18,000 Police Contracting, $1,100 Pollyant Trail, $7,600 Sewer Fund.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Payne,
Yes.
Trustee Noel,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari,
No?
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles,
Yes.
and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Motion carried. 10C, 2022 Oakland County Gypsy Moth, 2022 Oakland County Moth Suppression Grant Program Resolution. Trustee Charles, did you want to take that on, please?
Sure. And first of all, we all know now, because we want to be correct, that it's now called spongy moth.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to turn in our supervisor, then please do so. Curtis Wright and I and the committee for the Spongy Moth Committee, I guess we're calling it now. And we spent a lot of time and effort looking for gypsy moths. We've had a number of meetings. Suppression is the key word because you can't eliminate, I want to say gypsy moths, but you know what I mean, spongy moths. So where we stand right now, and a lot of this goes back over a year, but we've reviewed the entire township. We've looked at the acreage. We've got about, let's see here, 445.9 acres that we've identified that have infestation, divided into 3 different blocks. Last year we were quoted $140 an acre to do the spraying. I talked with the people at MSU this afternoon. They have not finished with their bidding process. Right now they've had 1 bid. It's the same person who's done it for a number of years. And maybe Commissioner Spiz can come on a minute and fill us in. But right now, we've got, like I said, 445.9 acres. We've got money set aside. And I guess at this point, let me turn over to Commissioner Spiz, since he's been very helpful having the county get involved with this. And he's aching to speak.
I get more than enough opportunities to speak, so thank you. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. From a spongy moth standpoint, the program, all the maps from all the entire communities within Oakland County were due, I believe it was Tuesday. The quotes were all due in yesterday, and we only did get 1 bidder, and it's the bidder that MSU Extension has used for years, so, which was good. The number came in, I think it was roughly $120 an acre. So, based on the numbers we're getting from all the other communities that are gonna participate. So the application and the timing has been rolled out. You guys should all be aware of that. And once you get your application in, and once everybody gets all their paperwork in, dots your i's, cross your t's, we'll get the spraying all set up through MSU Extension. And then, once everything's taken care of and spray's done, submit your reimbursement, and you get your grant or reimbursement for up to $30,000 from the county.
Very good. And once again, thanks to Commissioner Spiz for helping us get the matching grant, by the way. That should be noted by everybody. It saves us a lot of money. $30,000 if my memory's correct, is that right?
Yeah,
Up to?
Up to $30,000 per community, and you can do a spray, you can do a mechanical treatment, you can do a ground spray. There's many different treatments that are approved through the grant program. And I think roughly now we have about 8 different communities that are participating in different types of mitigation, I'll call it.
Okay, suppression, whatever else. But I look at $125 an acre, which is more than what you just quoted. You know, we're paying $57.72 an acre, which is a far cry from last year. We were quoted $140 an acre, so we've saved a few dollars here and there. So we
Yeah.
can go out and spray more if we wish. That's including the $30,000 that you have to range. And part of the process to get reimbursed is to have a resolution from the township. So would this be a good time to read that resolution, Supervisor Curtis, or should we just record it?
I move to approve the resolution of compliance with the 2022 Oakland County Moth Suppression Grant Program as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Charles. I'm losing my scope here. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes,
And Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
the motion carries. Okay, I'll take the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, we, board members, as you're aware, there were 28 trees removed from the Oxford Township Cemetery earlier this year. I have a wholesale nursery quote to take these trees down, or after we take these trees down, to replace the 28 trees with smaller caliber trees. I have a guest here tonight, Mr. Tedder. If you'd like to step up.
Thank you, Supervisor Curtis and members of the board. My name is Jim Tedder. I'm an area manager with ITC Michigan. We're a utility company that owns the transmission lines throughout the township. And in communicating with Supervisor Curtis and other members of the board and in seeking a way and an opportunity perhaps to support the township with all the hardship that you and the residents have endured over the several months, it will be our privilege to cover the costs. I believe Supervisor Curtis suggested around $5,000. It will be our privilege to cover the cost of the planting of those trees. And if the opportunity permitted itself, we would certainly like to bring some volunteers along to help with the planting effort as well.
Wow.
Great.
Wow, that's great. Thank you very much. I move to accept the donation from ITC Power Transmission Company for, what did you say the number was, Jim?
$5,000.
$5,000 to replace the 28 trees that had to be removed from the Oxford Township Cemetery.
I'll second that.
You have a motion by Supervisor Curtis, a second by Trustee Charles. Any questions?
Just a quick comment. Was that appropriate?
That's appropriate. You
Just all-
tell me your comment.
I appreciate Mr. Tedder coming here, appreciate this. I'm sure we all do, but we've known Mr. Tedder for a number of years. Privileged to know Jim, so this is an example of why Jim is widely respected in our community. So Jim, thank you very much. And now you led the effort to get this money for Oxford Township. You know, he contacted us a few times, and just to let you know.
Oh, well, thank you. It's our privilege. Thank you.
Never turned down an opportunity.
You thought he was going to push you out, did you?
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, thank you very much. You bet.
No, Jim, that was an opportunity to show him a wrestling move. Yeah, you missed it.
My days are gone.
I got one good one left, so.
Yeah, but that's called prone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
need a vote.
Thank you both, by the way.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Thanks again, Jim, and thank the folks at ITC. I will get back with you. I've got the list from Steinkopf. We're gonna try to pick a selection of trees out that aren't all one type so we can mitigate any mass disease in the future, if you will. Thank you. Okay, item B, 11B. Oh, this one is a good one too. Commissioner Spiz, you want to come back up? And tell us about a grant from the Oakland County Board that you got.
Thank you again, Mr. Supervisor and the board. I think everybody is fully aware of the incident that happened back in November of last year. The Oakland County Board of Commissioners allocated $5 million out of the fund balance to help support Oxford and their needs over that time period. Some of that money is to prosecute the demons or the evil people that did what they did that day. But some of the other money was put aside to help the businesses. So part of that is $100,000 that the County Board of Commissioners put aside to help the businesses that opened their doors, did everything they could to help support the residents, the victims, and everybody through those days from November 30th, I think it is, to January 24th?
24th.
There was a lot of people, there was a lot of discussion. We would have liked to have got this money out a lot sooner. But unfortunately, you have to go through the avenues of government to make this stuff happen. There was a lot of input from many different people. Supervisor Curtis was there, the Legacy Center was there. There's a lot of businesses that, probably too many for me to list here today, and not only in Oxford, but in Lake Orion, that went above and beyond to help support, and many put their businesses at risk from a financial perspective, and that's what the intent of this grant money is for, is to give a little bit back to those businesses to make sure they can keep their doors open and continue to support those in need here in Oxford. With that, what we did as a county is we allocated money directly to Oxford Township, right? So we felt that was the best way to get that money out to those businesses the fastest, because otherwise the county would have to contract with each one of those businesses, and then we get into a paperwork nightmare. Whereas if we go through Oxford Township, we as the county can write a single check and allow you guys to manage that as you see fit.
I agreed to accept the money. This board has to approve me accepting the money. And then we're going to take myself, Joe Medore, village manager, Commissioner Spiz, and Supervisor Barnett, and verify the list of restaurants that are eligible and come up with a possible payment of each one. It is a gift, it is non-taxable, and it's to replenish what was given and not gotten through their gifts. So I applaud you. Thanks for our hard work. I know we only had 325 phone calls on this, and it was tough to get through, but we got it. It was good to get.
It was my honor to do this.
Thank you. Yes.
Is it,
Right.
are the funds going to be prorated across the board equally, or is it depending on what?
We don't
people
know.
submit? You don't know, okay.
From the grant itself, there are some guidelines in there.
Yes.
Up to $5,000
Mhm.
per.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
So that's why we did that, because there may be different levels that is decided by Oxford Township to allocate. Some might get 1,000, some might get 2,500, some might get 5,000. It depends on the level of support maybe that business gave at that time.
Okay.
If I could help with the answer to that question, the preliminary list that you all saw in my email, that was started back in January to get Michael, to get these, Commissioner Spiz, to get these funds moving off out of their budget. So it is not a complete list. It is not the list. It's just an example of the number of folks that did give and how we could come up with some sort of a fund and prove that we did have this many donations in the community. So let me jump down to Trustee Charles.
So how do you plan on identifying which businesses, in addition to those, might be eligible?
We have many lists of people through witnessing, of the acts of the food coming to places like the schools, like the township, like the village, like the police.
So you
like,
have existing lists, is what you're saying?
We're gonna review the existing list and possibly add to it. And this motion and resolution only includes local.
And are you gonna advertise that you're looking for it, or are you just by word of mouth?
No, we're not gonna advertise. We're gonna take through experience and witnessing who gave what and who did what.
And what kind of validation are you gonna ask of these folks that might have lost money?
It's in the resolution. They have to provide some sort of proof. So we have proof of who did what, but how much they did, we don't have the proof of.
And let me also add, the $100,000 from numbers I have seen is nowhere near the amount of effort or monies, time, et cetera, that these businesses around this community put in.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Let me just give you like one example for everything Legacy did. So it's like when you step back from that, there's no business history of mankind has ever closed their business, invited in the competition into their business to compete against them. Because what Legacy does, especially in terms of like the catering and all that, they know their caterers there. Nobody's ever done that. You can't go to Petrozel's and say, can you please close down and bring in Club Monte Carlo into your place to help do business? That doesn't happen. Nobody brings in direct competition and pays for them to be there. I mean, that's incredible. I've never heard that before.
Michael, there are other avenues we are chasing to offset some of these.
Yeah, there are potential other revenue streams that are being worked on at other government levels, I'll put it that way, right?
Good.
And the intent is if those monies do come in through Oakland County, is we will be having this discussion again to help further reinvigorate some of those businesses that look well beyond what $5,000 will even touch.
I agree.
Clerk Wright.
Yeah, in the agreement, there's a blank in there for the expiration of this agreement. What date are we supposed to put in there?
It was June, isn't it? When the contract wasn't in June?
I thought it was,
There's a time window that this had to occur within, which was November 30th through January 24th.
that was,
That's the boundaries that were put around the support. But from that time frame, I mean, from my perspective, once the check gets here, I want to get that out as soon as possible. But I would say everything should be done and completed before June.
So we should insert June 30th, 2022
sure.
for expiration? Okay. Because that's part of what a proposed motion is. The other questions I have is certificates of insurance. Those are just our liability insurance certificates. Is what the county be looking for. And then the filing with the Secretary of State, is that done by both parties? Or is the county doing that on our behalf? That's one of the requirements in the agreement. The agreement is filed with the Michigan Secretary of State.
That would be this resolution.
Yeah, it'd be the resolution. So it's just the paperwork.
The agreement is the resolution.
But who's filing it to
The
the
township would be based on what you said, right?
I mean, are both parties filing this to the Michigan Secretary of
I'd have
State?
to confirm that. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure.
All right.
Go through our purchasing department for that.
And then in the exhibit, it puts a lot of onus on the grants and communication managers on this document. Is there like a blanket report that goes to the county that can be used? Or is that something that you just report on the documents you have and send it in?
I'd like to confirm if we have a
Okay.
blanket format.
All right.
I'm sure we do. But I'll get you the information you need to make sure you meet the requirement.
Yeah, I just get it to Supervisor Curtis and,
Yep.
'cause you guys are working on that. Then it says, grantee must be for profit businesses of 50 employees or less.
Correct.
Now, would that disqualify in this case the Legacy Center?
They don't have 15 employees.
Well, that,
Business itself.
the Legacy Center we're not talking about because they didn't contribute food.
Okay,
The Legacy Center
Alright.
contributed rent.
okay.
That's the grants we're chasing for that.
Yes.
And any other business who donated. This is specifically,
Material item.
Right.
this is specifically material items from local businesses under 50 employees for the period of November 30th to January 24th.
I move to approve the Oakland County interlocal agreement between Oakland County and Oxford Charter Township as presented. And the agreement shall expire at 11:59 p.m. on June 30th, 2022, per section 10.1 of the agreement. And any notices per section 21.2 of this agreement shall be addressed and sent to Jack Curtis, Supervisor, Charter Township of Oxford, 300 Dunlap Road, Oxford, Michigan, 48371. And Supervisor Jack Curtis and Clerk Curtis W. Wright are authorized to sign the agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Nold. Are there any questions? Seeing none, A roll call?
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Clerk White, yes. And Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Commissioner
Thank you all.
Spiz. We
Thank
look
you.
forward
See
to
each other soon.
getting together.
I think we should invite Mr. Spiz and Mr. Tedder back every month.
Well,
We won't be bearing gifts every month.
Well, then forget it.
all right, moving on. This would be item C. Charlie Farley is our ordinance enforcement officer resignation. Charlie gave his 2 weeks' notice, and what, did you get a copy of that? Just Charlie says, regrets to inform you of my intention to resign my position as code enforcement official for the Charter Township of Oxford. The effective date of my resignation will be March 15th, 2022. Thank you for your time and consideration involving this matter. Board members, what I'm looking to do is to replace Charles Farley, the ordinance officer, upon his resignation.
I move to approve the resignation of Oxford Township Ordinance Enforcement Officer Charles Farley with regrets, effective March 15th, 2022. Further, Supervisor Jack Curtis is authorized to recruit and select a candidate to fill the Oxford Township Ordinance Enforcement Officer vacancy.
A second?
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Nold. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, we'll move on to item D. Mr. Rentrop. M24 Sewer Line Construction Special Assessment District.
The Water Sewer Committee has been working on this for some time now. We've met with the property owners that would be subject to the special assessment district, which is illustrated on on your screen. The SAD and the idea extending the sewer line up the east side of 24 to Ray Road was prompted by the fact that there is a line under 24 now that services some of the businesses that it is failing. And so it became a question, and there's limited capacity in that line. So it became a question of, are you better off putting money into tearing up that line and replacing that line, or constructing a new line that would service additional properties up 24? And the decision was made that it makes better physical sense to put in a new line that would service other properties. In doing that, that meant that the properties currently existing who have paid their fees, they already paid their connection fees, would not be part of that SAD, albeit they would be entitled to utilize that line. So having said that, a letter was sent from the Water Sewer Committee to the various property owners, inviting them to advise whether or not they would like to participate in an SAD and to start an SAD process that can't be quickly reversed. It requires 51% of the property owners. That 51% of the property owners did request the SAD to go forward. So this is the first, there's a series of 4 board meetings that are required under the SAD process. This is the first of 4 meetings. This is it's a tentative resolution whereby you're working with numbers that Jim has done as best he can in terms of estimating costs, and but they're not final numbers. So these numbers can change as more information is gained what the cost of this line is going to be. So we prepared a resolution, a draft resolution, which should be in your packet, that outlines what needs to take place on this. This will be the first of 4, as I mentioned. The second, and this is considered the initial tentative resolution to establish the SAD, which establishes the district and the cost. The second meeting will is projected to occur on April 13th, 2022, which will be a public hearing to hear objections to the proposed SAD. Then the township needs to go to work with the assistance of Jim Sharp and Sharp Engineering to complete the survey design work, get permit from Eagle, and to prepare bid documents to go out. Jim advises the better pricing is going to occur not during the summer months, but during the winter months. So we are going to delay going out for bids until January to hopefully get a better price. Once all the costs are determined, the supervisors prepare a proposed special assessment roll. This becomes more the final roll of the numbers in the district. Meeting number 3 occurs, and they decide whether or not to accept bids. That is going to occur, projected to occur probably late January, is it? Agree? I think it's late January here.
Do you have the well-prepared timeline, Jim?
Yeah, I do. Bid documents are prepared and bidding goes out on 1/1/23 to 2/28/23. So that I have. Then there's a 4th meeting which will occur after all this takes place. And that meeting, there will be a public hearing to hear objections to the assessment roll and decide whether or not to confirm the roll. A person objecting to the assessment roll shall file the objection in writing with the township clerk before the close of the hearing. After the hearing, the township board at or the same subsequent meeting may confirm the special assessment roll, and that means it's a done deal at this point. There is one caveat, because this is really kind of a hybrid special assessment, because those properties that are currently serviced by sewer are not participating in the process. There is a notion that the township would contribute a cost somewhat less than what the cost of replacing that line would be, because if they had to replace the line under the roadway, that would be an obligation to the township. So they'll contribute an amount at this point in time estimated to be $300,000 towards the total cost. To further ease paying for those participating in the special assessment district, we prepared what we call an incentive agreement, which gives the right of a property owner who may have been assessed. The assessment's based on acreage, and then the acreage is converted to REUs, residential equivalent units, which Jim has put together. And if a party, for example, needed fewer than the REUs which are being allocated and what the cost is allocated on, that party could sell the REUs at a later date. The township has a right of first refusal because it might be in the township's best interest to buy up those excess REUs. That agreement is somewhat unique and novel, so we do not, I don't know why it wouldn't survive, but in case it doesn't, there's a bailout provision for the township that if it's determined by a court to be an unenforceable agreement, or if it's an opinion is rendered by legal counsel that it's unenforceable, the township's not obligated to enter into that, enforce that agreement. So I think it's a pretty good package. Jim has done an excellent job of pulling all the pieces together, and the Water and Sewer Committee have been diligent in pursuing these properties.
Okay, I want to address 2 more things, and I'm going to ask Treasurer Ferrari. We also have an area of homes that are underserved by sewer. And right now, these homes are losing their septics. We have grant manager, our communications and grants manager is chasing several grants through Oakland County and through the Michigan Economic Development Company. So we are taking this line up to the Dunlap Road, which could get us into the area of underserved sanitary sewer. So that is another one of the reasons, besides our failing sewer line that's on there, and hopes of also sewering our northern industrial zone properties and our commercial zone properties. So with that, we are looking for a motion for
I'm-
assessment resolution number 1.
I move to approve the special assessment resolution number 1, including exhibits A, B, and C as presented, in regard to a sanitary sewer project commencing from an existing manhole located at the southwest corner of parcel 04-22-200-004, extending northerly to a point near the intersection of Lapeer Road and Dunlap Road.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, and I have a second by Trustee Noel. I know I have questions. I'm going to start with Clerk Wright.
Yeah, just a point for Attorney Rentrop. On, just have to notice, it's on Exhibit C, and might be on Exhibit B as well. It indicates that the parcels are particularly described as, it only has a parcel ID number. Should that be indicated as identified as versus described? When you go down farther, that's technically a particularly described description of those two parcels on the bottom of that exhibit. Maybe Engineer Sharp has an opinion on that as well.
I'm okay with the language. I
Is that okay?
understand your distinction. From a grammatical point of view, it's probably a little bit better to say identified as opposed to described by, but having said that, the law clearly allows you to identify the property by parcel.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And the reason that the lower portion is not by parcel is because those are part of the levy parcels, which is, I don't know, 1,200 acres, and they just want to split off a little piece.
The portion,
So it's
okay.
not an actual individual parcel that we could just assign a number to, otherwise they would all just be numbers, but those are parts of those parcels.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir, Trustee Charles.
$300,000 is what the township would potentially contribute.
The $300,000 was allocated out of the ARPA funds. Our commitment to design, engineering, and permitting of this, and it's our contribution, knowing we would have to repair the sewer line under M24.
Another question,
begin with.
procedural, my own lack of knowledge on SADs. How is this different from a normal SAD for, let's say, lakes or roads and things
I'll
like
ask
that?
Mr. Rentrop to address that for us.
No difference. Same concept. It's the same statutes, been around. I came to the Water Sewer Committee with a memo dated 1990. And it was as applicable in 1990 as it is today. The process is the same.
So if we treat a lake, it's the same 4 meeting process?
Yes.
And is it 51 or 50.1 potentially? Just, I know that's being
It's
picky.
51. It's actually 23%, I think is, but they can then reverse it by a vote of 51. So it's always advisable to go out and get the 51% out front.
Good?
Yep.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Noel,
Yes.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis,
Yes.
and Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Boy, you guys must have a great chairman on that water sewer committee.
Huh.
Okay, item 11E. That's right, 11E. Board members, I want to provide you with an update of an emergency sanitary sewer repair that occurred in February 2022. The pump at Glass Lake Sanitary Lift Station, located near the top of the attached map, right up around the number 16, it failed, causing an emergency and needed to be replaced. The Water and Sewer Committee voted at their February 10th, 2022 meeting, that was the day after the Township Board meeting, to approve the Oakland County Water Resources Commission to install a new pump at a cost not to exceed $10,000. Again, this is above the $3,500 limit that I have to spend, or we have to spend, and our board meeting minutes attached shows that we were granted the permission to go out and do an emergency repair and then report on it after we've done the repair. So what we're coming to you tonight is we did the emergency repair and we're announcing that we did it for under $10,000. I don't think there's a motion required. Is
I was
there?
just gonna have the board ratify it. Do you mind?
No.
I'll make a motion that that we ratify the Oxford Township Water and Sewer Committee vote on February 10th, 2022 meeting relating to the Glass Lake Sewer Lift Station pump replacement.
A second?
That's moved by Treasurer Ferrari, second by Trustee Noel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Payne,
Yes.
Trustee Noel,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Okay, item 11F, sanitary sewer resolution.
The resolution in front of you was originally in the ordinance, and reviewing that with Attorney Rentrop and Attorney Morrison, it was decided to pull this out of the ordinance because of a lot of different numbers that are involved, including escrow monies, surety bonds, liability insurance amounts, and their connection fees, our use schedule, quarterly usage charges, and meter charges, inspection fees. So by doing that as a resolution, you can approve it just as part of the Township Board meeting minutes. You don't have to go through a first and second reading. So it's felt that it was to be pulled out and approved separately. So as you look at the attachment, I don't have it up, but I can do that. You'll see several items that were in color that were changed. So scroll down through here. You can see the changes that were made in the document. So this cleaned up a lot of the issues. It updated it. For example, sewer connection fees were at $2,500 and $3,500. Now they're at the fixed $5,000 amount. So it's presented to you. If you have any questions or comments on it, or a motion to approve.
I move to approve the resolution in regard to Article 3 of Chapter 62, Sewers and Sewage Disposal, of the Oxford Township Code of Ordinances as presented.
A second?
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
And Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Okay, item 11G, procurement policy. Right now, board members, we do not have a procurement policy in place. Pardon me?
She's just what page?
What we found in writing grants, some of our fire grants that we're writing right now require the township to have a procurement policy. The grant, the people who give the grants out need to see a procurement policy. There's one going on right now at the fire department, and it is good common practice to have a procurement policy in place. So what I volunteered to do with Clerk Wright is to present a draft to the township board at the next meeting of a newly adopt a newly written procurement policy. And what we've attached is a simple one, a copy from Orion Township, just so that you get an idea of what we're looking to do. Are there any questions?
I move to direct Clerk Curtis Wright and Supervisor Jack Curtis to present a draft Oxford Township procurement policy at the April 13th, 2022 Township Board meeting for consideration of approval.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, hearing none. Motion is approved. Item 6H, safety path repairs and bid recommendations.
Board members, the Safety Path Committee met. We put out the repairs early this year to hopefully get the better prices to repair some of our areas on the safety path. We got a low bid for $209,000 roughly from H.G. Sarter. Engineer Sharp checked them out. Evidently, they're a well-known company from that part of the county, and we would recommend that we proceed with the repairs. One thing different is the motion's going to change because any type of repairs to safety path comes out of general fund, not safety path. I move to approve the recommendation from Sharp Engineering and award the 2022 Safety Path Rehabilitation Project to H.G. Sarter at the base bid amount of $209,110. This $209,110 base bid amount is to be expensed to the general fund, account number 101-231-933.297.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
And Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, item Item I.
You'll let Sartor know? Jim, you're gonna let Sartor know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll write a letter to them tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, the 2022 Chloride Contract. Board members, last year, we voted, the first vote was for 4 chlorides. It was a very dry year. We went with 5. It was of great benefits to our roads in the county. What we're asking for is we would like to recommend approval for the same 5 applications of chloride in 2022. Talking to our new foreman, Colin Campbell, our roads desperately need grading and they desperately need chloriding to protect them and to build them up for the upcoming year. So I'm asking for 5 applications of chloride in 2022 for the total of, I left my paper in there, 66,000. Do we have a total on that?
353 and 60. I'll go down to it.
Thank you.
Right at the bottom.
$66,097.34. Yes, sir, Treasurer.
I'm gonna make this motion, but also at the end, I'm gonna add in, also can use some of the money from telecommunications. That's been sitting there for a couple of years, so at your, whatever you want, you can put the first bill towards it, just so we can spend out some of that money too.
Okay.
I move that the Charter Township of Oxford contract with the Road Commission of Oakland County to provide chloride services for 2022 on all public gravel roads in the Charter Township of Oxford. The chloride cost will be paid 100% by the Charter Township of Oxford for 5 applications at the rate of $7.29, 0.0729 cents per foot, per application. The cost for the chloride service to be expensed to the road fund, account 204-440-969-000, highway road maintenance contracts and or telecommunications fund, 239-807-969.000.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Nold. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes,
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
And Trustee Payne.
Yes.
motion carries. 11J, H-I-J, Ordinance Review Committee, request for funding. Trustee Nold.
Board members, Ordinance Review Committee's gotten together and put a list of things to do for the first part of this year. We got with our consultant, put a limit of $225 hours, not to exceed, to do this work with the Ordinance Review Committee. The Planning Commission approved it. I'd like to suggest I move to authorize the Oxford Township Planning Commission Ordinance Review Committee to proceed with the completing the zoning ordinance amendment priority list dated February 14th, 2022, with the assistance of Oxford Township Planner Caroline Wortman, associates not to exceed 225 hours. The cost for the Carlisles and Wortman associate not to exceed 225 hours to be expended to the Planning Commission's account of 101-701-801-000, Planner Professional Services.
I will second that.
I have a motion by Trustee Nold, a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
And Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Okay, item 11K, Oxford Township Support Emergency Operations Plan amendments. Trustee Nold?
Board members, I had an opportunity to go through the support emergency operation plan in a little bit of detail. There's some updating that needs to be done, and there's also some areas that we need to review to make sure we have the appropriate people to do those. So I move to authorize Supervisor Jack Curtis, John Nold, and Pete Schultz to make the necessary amendments to the Oxford Township Support Emergency Operation Plan and present it to the Oxford Township Board of Trustees for consideration of approval at the April 13th, 2022 regular meeting.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Trustee Nold, a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Let's see, item 11L, Michigan Senate Bill 653, History Museum Authorities Act. Trustee Charles?
For those not familiar with it, it's a proposal in the state senate right now to potentially raise property taxes in Wayne and Oakland counties to pay for museums in the city of Detroit. It's a proposal, it's in the state senate, it was voted out of committee. As it says here, it's a 0.4 mil for 20 years. According to some estimates, it'd be about $40 million for these museums. More importantly, it would tax people in our township for museums in the city of Detroit. So what we have here is a resolution opposing this tax or this potential tax. And just to let you know what's going on right now in the state senate, thanks to the efforts of a lot of residents here in Oxford and other places, it's dormant. It's not necessarily dead. I did talk with 2 state senators today before the meeting. At the very least, I was informed that Oakland County will be removed from this bill, which is good, but it still leaves Wayne County on the hook, and they're hoping to take this bill and totally kill it. But right now, it's still sitting there. Hopefully, it'll never rise, but I was also told that if we do have a resolution, it would help put an end to this Bill 653.
You know, this is the perfect example of communications in our office. Treasurer Ferrari he gets a Cranes magazine and gets this article. He sent it to me. I sent it to Trustee Charles, and I sent it to the rest of the board members. The amount of activity that started here spread to the Oakland County Association of Township Supervisors. It then spread to the Oakland County chapter of the Michigan Townships Association. Had we not read that article, the Senate would have just felt, well, I guess they don't mind it. So we just caught it. We're putting together a resolution. I think the Senate knows that a lot of townships in Oakland County do not want to participate in this property tax. And they've stated right now, like Trustee Charles said, they're taking Oakland County off it. But what we're suggesting is we take a vote on approving this resolution, and should that bill move forward with Oakland County, we would then present the resolution to our Senate.
I move to approve the resolution regarding Senate Bill 653 as presented.
I second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Charles. I saw one hand go up. Clerk Wright.
Yes, on the way the resolution is presented, our resolutions don't reflect how this is laid out, and I don't know if this is correct or not. Maybe Attorney Rentrop has the answer, but usually the clerk will sign the resolutions and not the supervisor. So I don't know, from my vantage point, whether or not that needs to be amended.
We can amend that.
I recommend the clerk.
Okay.
I'll amend, so we got to vote on this, who's going to do an amendment, or how do we got to
Yes.
do this?
Okay, that's how we do it, right?
Okay.
What's that?
The cleanest way.
I'm sorry, I don't have a voice. That's the cleanest way to do it.
Is vote on this, then vote on an amendment?
So discussion first and then.
Okay.
Got it.
I'll call the roll.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Payne,
Yes.
Trustee Noel,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, no, and Trustee Charles.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution in regard to Senate Bill 653 with amendments to reflect Oxford Township resolutions.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by trustee Noel, but I think we made a mistake.
So you approved the first one, now you're approving the second one.
What
Yes,
to do with the amendments? We're amending what we approved.
but we need to, all right, let's ask for clarification. We approved
You approved it as presented.
we approved it as
Now
presented.
we're amending it.
Okay. I think that's why Curtis voted no on the first motion.
Well, should we just redo it? Is that possible?
I thought we're just amending, we have it, now we're
Right,
amending it.
Right,
What's
what
your-
you say.
Let Clerk Wright,
What I would do is, I would vote this motion down again. Then I would vote to rescind the original motion and then vote accordingly with the change of the,
so what we're
supervisor to the
doing,
clerk.
I'll re-speak.
I'll withdraw my motion,
No,
right? Then Mr. Knoll can withdraw his support, we don't even vote on it.
Can't withdraw a motion that's already been voted on.
No, the second one.
all right, come on up to the lectern.
Well, the substance, if I understand it correctly, the substance of the motion stays the same.
Correct.
Correct.
Just do a simple amendment to correct the signature line.
That's what I did.
Okay,
And to put it in our format, whatever
so
format.
now
Chris wants.
Clerk Wright has a question.
But you've already voted to approve the resolution
That's
as,
fine.
as
You're not
presented.
changing the substance of the
Yeah,
resolution,
you're-
it stays exactly the same. You're
Okay.
just saying who's.
You're voting to change the signature.
Yeah, you really didn't approve what's shown there, you approved the substance.
The body.
See, I'm not a cop, I'm not a school administrator, I'm not an attorney.
And you're not
Gosh.
a clerk.
Man. All right, so what we have to do now is the motion and second that's on the floor, we have to, if you want to amend the first motion by changing the signatory, we would vote yes. If you don't want to, you would vote no. Okay, I'll call the roll.
Trustee Charles.
Yes, to make it work, right? I just make sure. So yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes,
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes,
And Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Okay, John, you're trustee Noel, you're up on 11M, and here we go. Single trash hauler for Oxford Township.
Hey, Jack, can I interject just real quickly and let John catch it? One comment about, you said, the input from the community was from the Cranes article. Actually, a lot of people were on top of this well before that came out.
Well, no one in this room knew about it until we found out about it here. If they did, they were withholding information. So I'm glad everybody else knew and didn't say anything, but I was praising the people that did say something in this room.
Well, there were a lot of people working on it beforehand.
Yeah, I'm sure there were, but nobody worked with us on it. Item M, single trash hauler for Oxford Township. Trustee Noel?
I've had the opportunity of visiting some local area communities, talked over with them of the success of a single trash hauler. I've heard many residents issuing the same concern. They'd like to have a single trash hauler for two reasons. One, for cost. Another reason is to get the traffic off the road. So I'd like to move to authorize Trustee Noel, Trustee Payne, and Trustee Curtis to investigate the possibility of a single trash hauler for Oxford Township and to report back to the committee in June of 2022, regular scheduled board meeting.
is that Supervisor Curtis or Trustee Charles?
Curtis.
or clerk, right,
Ah,
I don't know who the Curtis person is.
yeah.
it would be Clerk Wright. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was there some sweating going on down there?
There was. I just got demoted from president to
Well, that's okay.
mayor to.
Back on the end again.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Noel.
You're just gonna explore it, right, John?
Second, did we get a second?
And a second
Yes.
by trustee Payne. To explore the single trash hauler for Oxford Township. Okay, any questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes,
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes,
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
And Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes,
motion carries. Items removed from the consent agenda, there were none. Second call for public comment. Anybody in the public like to make a comment? Seeing none, Board of Trustees comment. I'm gonna start down with Trustee Colvin.
I would just like to thank Mr. Tedder and Commissioner Spiz for all the work they've done to help our community after we all know the tragic day of last November. So, thank you very much.
I have nothing.
Trustee Noel.
I think I said enough, thank you.
Treasurer Ferrari.
I'd like to thank this board. We had a big agenda tonight, and we got through a lot of different issues, and we do a lot of different improvements in this community that is going to be reflective in the years to come.
Trustee Charles.
Agree with Trustee Colvin about Mr. Spiz and Mr. Tedder. I know when Mr. Tedder originally contacted me, and I contacted Mr. Curtis, or sorry, President Curtis. Great idea to contribute, so I like that. A couple other things going on here. The Downtown Development Authority, the trolley has been a great success anecdotally, but we're looking for some input from the community about where we go from here. It's a DDA event right now, but we're looking for ideas because the pilot project is coming to an end as of March 31st. We've got private funding covering it for the period ending March 31st. And Monday, we have a meeting going on where somebody else might cover it all the way until December, just to let you know. And then we also have some things going on too, the DDA board. 2 of our board members were selected by Oakland County to be 40 under 40, Ashley Ross and Kelly Westbrook, so I'm kind of proud to say that, both board members. And then, let's see here, March 7th, Monday through the end of this month, the Oxford Addison Youth Assistance, I'm a member of that board. We're having a that's a new word, bottle and pop can drive to, and we're splitting that with the Pollyant Trail. So if you have cans and bottles you want to get rid of after this long winter, then take them over to the Oxford Police Department by the garage there, put them in a bag, and we'll take them to Meyer and get a refund and distribute the money, as I said. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Wright.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo the thank you to Mr. Tedder and Commissioner Spiz. Probably add you, Supervisor Curtis, because you've been instrumental in a lot of things too on that. Also, I'll keep reminding people that if you're interested in the vacant trustee position in November, your petitions are due April 19th by 4 p.m. to get that, get your name on the ballot in August. Also, there was a House bill that I responded to Senator Bayer on to potentially let clerks determine to expand voting precincts without having to create new voting precincts. So I offered my comments for her to support that bill if it comes to that vote, because we have probably 3 precincts that are borderline of needing to be realigned, I'll put it that way. So that's something that the Election Commission will be looking at our June meeting for the August election. We appoint election inspectors, so keep that on your radar or your agenda. The last thing is that, and I'm just curious on this one, just having to read the Planning Commission meeting minutes from the 24th of February, indicating creating a committee that will look for completeness on applications. I was just wondering, is that something that would be necessary? Because I think it'd be a responsibility of the administrative staff versus the committee to do that, but I just happened to see it, so I thought I'd comment on it, and I don't know what it's about, but that's my comment. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, best for last. Just as much as I try to praise everybody around our office, our employees, us as elected officials, I just want to take a moment to encourage township board members and township employees to please be mindful of how your conduct and dress reflects on Oxford Township. Like it or not, when you're in a township office or attending a community event, your words, actions, and attire are being scrutinized and judged by members of the public. That's why it's so very important for all of us to consistently conduct ourselves in a manner that's professional, respectful, and dignified. When one of us falls short of these expectations and tarnishes the township's image, we at the township suffer. The residents suffer, and the community suffers. That's wholly unacceptable. As elected officials, we owe it to the people in this township we represent to behave in a way that brings honor to them and a place we call home. I wanted to read that, and I don't think we need to have any conversation on it unless you want to come to my office and talk to me. But this other topic I want to talk about is township office lights were replaced with LED. The proposed DTE rebate savings is north of $1,300, closer to $1,400. Danielle met with DTE and the electrician, filled out the rebate form, so we have better lighting, and it will reduce our monthly DTE bill for our township, but we got a lot of that money paid for through a rebate. Tough Mudder is coming June 17th, 18th, and 19th. We will have many contracts in place for our police and for our fire support. They're going to meet with us in May to set those contracts up. Assistant Chief Matt, this will be your first year on this one, won't it? No, second. They did. You were here last. That's right. Pocket parks. Our members and representatives of the DDA. I've had 3 calls this week about people having wonderful ideas of buying property in the village to open a small park for kids to hang out in, play basketball, trees, picnic tables. We can't and have no control over that. If the DDA wants to get involved or the village wants to get involved, I'm going to start sending these people to the DDA board and to the village board, because no one wants to put a small park out here for the kids to come out here. All their activities are in the village. So beware, I'm going to be sending phone calls your guys' way. Okay? With that, item number 15.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none? Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a lot.